Hello IP6 and welcome to this week's health class. Welcome back, Teacher Dennis here. I hope everyone has had a great summer and they are looking forward to coming back into the classrooms. So let's have a look at what we will be learning this semester in health, well, with the first chapter. Okay, so we're going to be learning about our bodies in much more detail than what you would have learned between IP4 and IP5. Okay, so we're going to learn, going to go into much more details, and some of this might be difficult to listen to. There's some words that you might think are funny or naughty, but they are words that you need to learn. Okay, so hopefully you can be mature when we are talking about sensitive things, especially like the words like sex. We'll be using a lot in this chapter, and we'll be talking about sexual organs. So when I do talk about these things, I know it is funny to hear and maybe you might get embarrassed, but they are things that we need to talk about. So I hope that you will be okay with listening and talking about these things. Okay, before I start, I want to tell you that there are questions here on the left-hand side of the PowerPoint, and all these questions you will need to answer, okay? So I won't have a list of questions at the end of the PowerPoint. All the questions are listed to the side, and all the questions you'll be able to find the answers in the pages on the right. Okay? So it is important to remember this. So I won't tell you, oh, your homework is every week. I'm not going to keep telling you that. Your homework, you should know. If you see a question here, it means you need to answer it. Okay? You need to answer all the questions here. So make sure you have a health copybook that you write down the question, find the answers, and write down the answer. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say for that. Okay. So we're going to start with chapter 1, page 1. Okay? I'm going to read slowly, but please follow in your own books. Okay. Our body. We have systems in our body that keep our body growing and functioning properly. In this chapter, we will learn about the human reproductive system, circulatory system, and respiratory system. Okay, so we're going to learn about 3 different types of systems. The first one is called the reproductive system. That's what we're going to look at today. Then we have the circulatory system. We'll be looking at that next week. And then the respiratory system. We'll be looking at that the week after. Okay, and all of these systems help us function. Function means stay alive. Okay? So the reproductive system. The reproductive system is a system in a living thing that enables it to produce offspring. Offspring means children. Okay? The system ensures the continuity of the species in the world. In humans, males and females have different reproductive systems. Okay? So, everything that you see that's alive, that's a living thing, has a reproductive system. Humans have it, dogs have it, cats have it, flowers have it. Everything that is living, trees, whatever it might be, anything that is a living thing has a reproductive system. And that means a way to produce offspring. Okay? Again, offspring is like children. So in humans, we produce children. In plants, they produce smaller seeds, okay, that help them grow more plants. Okay? So let's just have a quick look at the questions here on the side. So what is the reproductive system? So I've just explained what the reproductive system is, and there's a very good sentence there explaining it. And the second question, why is the reproductive system important? Well, it's important because, like it says in the book, This system ensures the continuity of the species in the world. The continuity of the species in the world. That means that if we lose the reproductive system, if it stops working, we cannot continue. We will die, and then that will be us finished. Okay, there'll be no more humans, no more plants, no more whatever it might be. Okay, dolphins, whatever. Okay, if we have no reproductive system, we have no children. So we're going to look more about the human male and female reproductive systems. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the male reproductive system. Okay, the male reproductive system. So please follow. In humans, the main structures of the male reproductive system are the testes or the testicles. Okay, so the testes is and penis. Okay, so in males we have a penis and testicles, and that is where the reproductive system comes from in men. The testes produce sperm, which are the male reproductive cells. Okay, so the idea of us having the testicles are that, or testes, is that we produce sperm in them, and then we need the penis to send the sperm from the male to the female. Okay? Okay, I want you to have a look at the image at the top. And this is a diagram of the male reproductive system. So, lots of different parts to the male reproductive system. So at the top, you have the ureter, and then below that, you have a urinary bladder. That's where your urine is stored. Then you have a prostate gland, you have the penis, you have the epididymis, and then you have the scrotum. The scrotum is the piece of skin, or the sac, that holds the testes inside. You also have a urethra and the seminal vesicle. So underneath here, you can see the structure and function. Okay, so now you know where they are on the male reproductive system. Let's see what they do. Why do we have them? Okay, that is what the function means. So the testes produce sperm. Okay, it produces sperm. Scrotum holds and protects the testes. Okay, so it holds and protects the testes. The penis places sperm in the vagina, and we're going to learn about the vagina in the female reproductive system. Then you have the epididymis, which stores sperm. Urethra, which carries sperm and urine out of the body. The seminal vesicle produces fluids that nourish sperms. And the prostate gland, which produces fluid that neutralizes the acidity of urine. What that means is urine is very acidic, which means it has lots of acid in it. So if we were to go to the toilet and the urine passes through the penis, without the prostate gland, it would burn the penis. So the prostate gland neutralizes that acid so that it doesn't burn the penis. Okay? All right. So let's have a look at what you have to do here at the side. Draw and label the male reproductive system. So basically, you just need to draw this image and label, put the labels here. Okay? Very, very simple. And then secondly, copy the male structure and function table. It is important to remember the different parts of functions. Functions mean what they do. So again, very, very easy. All you need to write is structure, function, then the part, testes, produces sperm. Scrotum holds and protects testes. Okay, so you just need to copy that. So two very simple things to do. Copy the male reproductive system, just draw it and label it, and then draw the structure and functions table. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, so changes in males during puberty. Sorry, just let me see. Oh, there we go. So now we look at the female reproductive system. Okay, so we had a look at the male, now we're looking at the female reproductive system. So please follow. In humans, the main structures of the female reproductive system are the ovaries. They produce ova or eggs, which are the female reproductive cells. Okay, so in women, they have ovaries. If you remember, in males, they're called the testes. Okay, so males have testes that produce sperm, and females have ovaries that produce eggs. Okay, so let's have a look at the female reproductive system here. So you have what's called the fallopian tube, a uterus, the ovary, the cervix, and the vagina itself. Okay, so let's have a look at the structure and functions. Ovary produces ovum or eggs. Okay, if you use the word eggs, I will understand that you mean ovum. That is the function of the ovary. Fallopian tube. It carries the ovum from the ovary to the uterus. Okay, so So the ovaries are here, and it needs the ovums need to travel through here. Okay, so the fallopian tube job is to bring it from here to the uterus. Then the uterus is a place where the embryo develops, and an embryo is whenever sperm and the egg fertilize, which we'll be looking at later. When they fertilize, they develop, and they develop into a small child, okay, into the baby inside the woman. And then you have the vagina, a place where sperms are deposited, okay, so the penis needs to enter the vagina to send the sperm to the ovum, okay? Okay, puberty. Puberty is something that everyone goes through. Some of you may be going through it already, so it's important to understand it. I remember in IP5 we talked about puberty, so if you are going through these changes, you might recognize what I'm talking about. If you haven't started yet, you will need to prepare to go through some of these changes, okay? Around the age of 10, a child experiences some changes to his or her body. This stage is known as puberty. This is the stage where the reproductive system undergoes a great deal of development. So basically, we are all born with reproductive systems. However, they do not work until we reach puberty, until we begin puberty. So, for example, a man cannot produce sperm until he reaches puberty. A woman cannot produce ovum or eggs until she reaches puberty. Okay? So let's look at some changes in females during puberty. So the first main one, production of ova by ovaries. Okay, so you can't produce eggs until you start puberty. Commencement of menstruation. Menstruation is a process of clearing eggs that you're not going to use out of your body. Growth of hair in the pubic region and armpits. Okay, the pubic region is the lower region around where you go to the toilet, okay, around that part of your body. So in the male, it's around the penis. In the female, it's around the vagina. Growth and development of breasts. So in women, your chest, you will notice that your breasts will get bigger as you grow older. Okay, and that basically the more that you go through puberty, the bigger that they will get. The pelvis becomes broader, so that's your hips. So you will notice in your hips are getting wider. And fat deposits on hips and thighs. So for women, you will get more fat around the hips and thighs that you need to work on to keep control of. Okay, basically it's much easier to put on more weight once you have hit puberty. So maybe before you hit puberty, you can eat as much as you want and you don't get fat. But now, when you hit puberty, if you eat as much as you want, you will get fat very, very easy. Okay, so they are changes in females. Okay, so just to look at what you need to do, you need to copy the female reproductive system and label it, just like you did with the male. And then copy the female structure and functions, just like you did with the male. and also what changes happen to females during puberty. So you just need to copy this here, okay? Label, title changes in females during puberty, and copy these points, okay? Changes in males during puberty, okay? So this is males for men. Growth of hair on face. So men, boys, you'll start noticing that you grow hair on your chin, around your nose, okay? We grow a mustache. Also on your armpits, also get more hair on your chest, and also around your penis in the pubic region, in the pubic area. Your voice breaks and becomes deeper, so you will notice that your voice does not sound the same as before. Your penis, scrotum, and prostate gland enlarge, so your penis will get bigger and your scrotum will get bigger. Production of sperms by testes. So, like I said, once you hit puberty, your testicles will be able to produce sperm, and this will allow you to have children. Your body becomes more muscular, okay, and your chest becomes broader. So you will notice that your body, your arms will get much bigger. You'll notice that there's a lot more muscles around your chest, around your lower body, and in your legs. Your whole body is changing, okay? So you'll notice that your muscles, you'll notice that your body has more muscles and that they get bigger, okay? Okay, so then we're going to move on to the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is something that happens in women, okay, in girls. But it's still important that everybody understands what the menstrual cycle is. Okay, so please follow in your books. At puberty, a female begins to experience menstruation. It is a discharge of the uterine lining and blood through the vagina. Every month, the ovary releases an ovum. The ovum travels along the fallopian tube to the uterus. The uterine wall becomes thick with increased blood supply. Okay, so basically, every month or 28 days, a woman produces an egg, and the egg needs to go to the ovaries. When it goes to the ovary, it needs to be fertilized by sperm. And if it does not get fertilized by sperm, it needs to be released through the body. So in this case, it gets released through the vagina. And what happens when it's not used and needs to be released? A lot of blood develops around the lining of the vagina, and then of the uterus, and then eventually once per month over a couple of days, all of that lining of the ovum, of the egg, and of the blood will be released through the vagina. Okay? So that is what the menstrual cycle is. So what you need to do here is changes in males during puberty. So what changes happen to males during puberty? You just need to write these down, just like you did with female changes in puberty. And also answer these questions. What is menstruation? Okay, so you need to look here, find out what is menstruation. I've just explained what it is. I'll help you with this question. Menstruation is a discharge of the uterine lining and blood through the vagina. Okay, what is the menstrual cycle? Okay, so the menstrual cycle is every month the ovary releases an ovum. The ovum travels along the fallopian tube to the uterus, and the uterine wall becomes thick with increased blood supply. Okay, that is what the menstrual cycle is. So then finally you need to draw and label the correct order of the menstrual cycle. So basically you need to do picture 1, put the labels in the correct place, picture 2, picture 3, and then picture 4. Okay, so I know that is a lot of work to do for the first class, but it is just copying from the book, so it should not take you very long. Okay, I know there was a lot covered in this class. There's a lot of information. We will go back through it all again when you get back into school, but just to help you have a good understanding, please make sure you do all of your homework. Okay, that's all for today's class. Thank you very much, IP6, and see you again next week. Thank you.